This Kendrick mixtape is weird, but excellent. This is first impressions. Again, doing album reviews in the first 2 days to me is insanity. I will be breaking down Man at the Garden in this video because Justin Hunt asked for it. If Doechie's album is an album disguised as a mixtape, this is a mixtape disguised as an album. King Green has got a video on this. The Heart Part 6 is on this tape. Kendrick always drops a Heart Part before a rollout. So for me, this being on this project, Kendrick has something on the way. I think Kendrick was gonna drop this the same time as the Untitled track. Remember when DJ Head said to stay on stream? I think it was for this, but Kendrick hadn't finished yet. Whacked out murals. Someone tagged Kendrick's mural, like graffiti tagged it. So he's talking about that. I personally think there's a bit of a Lupe Fiasco shot with the whole forget a double entendre stuff and the pyramid stuff. So yeah, I think this is because of that. Squabble Up is the broccoli snippet. This is all thanks to Jeremy Heck, to be honest. A couple bars on here where he's talking about stuff that are in the Not Like Us music video, like spit a loogie at the camera, if you remember, he did that in the snippet. And also, the instrumental is a Nas instrumental. Cole's whole approach to the Port Antonio thing was kind of like, oh, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener at war type energy, right? For me, this is Kendrick saying essentially what annoyed me about Cole's Port Antonio track, that you're not the warrior in the garden in this scenario. First of all, he says lamping on an island watching Castaway. If you remember, this is a quote from the Heart Part 4. What is the callback? Is Kendrick saying lamping in Jamaica? Port Antonio is in Jamaica. This first verse, as far as I'm concerned, is for Cole. The other two things for me that point towards this is, one, he mentions Ibiza, which, why would Kendrick have any notion of mentioning Ibiza? The only two reasons is Drake, because he mentions that from rapping on his perspective on 616, which I'm gonna come to. And two, the last track of Might Delete Later is Trade the Truth in Ibiza, the song that's before a 7-minute drill. And on that song, Cole's talking about flying commercial and like, oh, I'm not usually too bougie to fly commercial, but because again, the part that pissed me off was, oh, well, I could have won the beef if I wanted to, which is like such a cop-out. The other part that pissed me off was Cole being like, lines got crossed, perhaps regrettably. Kendrick has been crystal clear since the beginning of this beef. Like that, he said, that's okay with all these nines. He gonna see Pet Cemetery. I'm sorry, what part of that is like, even when my intentions were pure in the beef, this is this whole thing of the fourth verse of Meet the Grahams, right? Of like, I tried to be empathetic with you, essentially, right? I deserve it all. Waking up at 6 a.m. This is 6:16 in LA, is it not? 6:16 in LA is 6:16 in LA a.m., not p.m. And then I bodied and won. Like, the part to me here that really plays into this is for Cole and Drake is more blood spilling. It's just paint to me. Because what did Cole say on Port Antonio? My friends went to war and I walked away with their blood on me. But what's Kendrick's response? More blood spilling. That's just paint to me, bro. To me, this is just, you're not built like that. And I don't think it's a diss. I just think it's Kendrick marking his territory. What are we talking about? This is, one person said, I'd cut my granny off if that's what it takes. And the other person is trying to do kumbaya. Like, anyway. And so the ending of this song being like, tell me why you deserve the greatest of all time title. To me, this is just a great question. This is just a great question. I love this track. The other meaning that actually Justin brought to my attention was it being three different perspectives biblically, because man at the garden, that's the Garden of Eden. So that would place the first verse being like Adam in the Garden of Eden. The second verse being Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane right before he's about to get betrayed. Hence why it's also a double of like, I'll tell truths that you don't want to tell. Like being awake early in the morning before anyone else. It's like in the Bible when all of the disciples were asleep. Like so many biblical parallels. And then the third verse being like Jesus being sent to the cross. Then Reincarnated, I kind of called from the Kendrick snippet, if you remember my video. I'm gonna talk about this in another video. TV Off, he clearly wrote this for the Super Bowl, which is really clear from the end of the verse before the stupid chorus. Oh, walking New Orleans with the etiquette of LA yelling. If you're not with my type of activities, don't watch the Super Bowl, bro. And then the end of this verse is so many just like Super Bowl references, like plyometrics. It's a diabetic double entendre. Love Kendrick said that there's no entendres on this project. There's so many. I'm in the city with a flag be getting thrown like pass interference, like passing in a in a football game. So the promo video with the flag behind him and he's at the 50-yard line. So many Super Bowl references. He's gonna perform this first at the Super Bowl. Dodger Blue, very chill. I like it a lot. Peekaboo, so weird. So Kendrick. The hey is so stupid, but so funny. And the boom, bam. The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand. But I'm not a rapper. It's just hilarious. This whole song just reminds me of Range Brothers. Like, just so unserious. But I think it's also in response to when that whole top 5 stuff was happening. That Black Hippie didn't work out. Then GNX, this is the weirdest song on the album, both sonically and ethos-wise, because tell me why the producer said on Twitter, Kendrick got sent the beat 2 days before the mixtape came out. Like, what happened, bro? This is such a weird drop. But again, putting on for the West Coast. And Gloria is a great closer to this tape. He's talking about an old relationship that he used to have, and then on the conclusion of the song, he talks about how he's actually talking about his pen. He's talking about his pen personified. This is one of the hardest bars on the album. He says that the girl's favorite movie
Just step on niggas. Brand new F8, just step on niggas.